Hey guys, you're watching Daniel and Gian Talk, and today we're going to do a full review of the feature film Bhavesh Joshi. Watch it on Netflix, Indian superhero film, if you will. I'm going to put quotations in the superhero part.
Because you're a fart sniffer.
That's why I'm a comic book fart sniffer. I liked it for the most part. There was definitely some parts where, I could have done without, but I liked the movie for the most part. Ending was not the best ending, but it's a little different for me. Like, I thought watching the trailer that this was going to be like Kick-Ass. Like, some dude just puts on a suit.
And it was to a degree, but not. It wasn't a comic book movie.
No.
It wasn't a superhero film.
No.
There was consequences, which is my favorite part, to literally everything they did.
Right.
If at any point they would have just listened to their friends and been like, hey, we shouldn't do this, we should stop, no one would have died. The problems would have still continued with the water and stuff.
Right.
But it's like, at what cost is all this worth it? That's, really what it comes down to.
Well, and I think it was a character. There were elements of these guys' characters, especially Bhavesh Joshi. We see there's parts where he's like, the guy runs a stoplight and he tells a taxi guy to stop and reverse because he ran the stoplight. Because
and then they get into an accident because of it, which is a little foreshadowing for everything. Which I like. I love the intimacy of the story. I always complain about there's not a lot of there's a lot of brushing over. It's about getting from this beat to this beat, not in this story. It's like, okay, we'll sit at the bar with these guys and let them talk. That being said, there's still a lot missing. There's no ever at any point, towards the end you get it, but flight training sequences.
Right.
There's no sequences that showing that the guy's super good at riding bikes or fixing bikes. So when he got that
that he's a fucking hacker.
Yeah, all of these things are, or where are they getting these YouTube skills from? Where are they getting these video editing skills from? I'm not saying the fact that they did all this was bad, but it's just
where they're nobody's watching the videos. I mean, I think.
So for me, it's the setup was was really big because, the fact that he has a not a bat cycle, but a motorcycle, I like it.
Right.
But who is he to have one of these? Why does he have one of these?
Also,
is he a fucking motorcycle?
I don't know.
Connoisseur?
I don't know if I missed it, but the design of the mask that
There's all the drawing that he drew. The one who died.
Right, but there was what was the inspiration behind?
I don't know,
that,
but that's another thing.
Yeah, it was.
How did it go from a sandwich bag to this light mask thing? Whatever. There was never.
Yeah, why did he want it? What's the effectiveness?
There was never a crafting your sword moment.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, I'm gonna design this suit. I mean, you get he spray paints the bike, but that's not the same thing.
Or to compare it to, another vigilante out there, Daredevil. We see him goes to the guy to have his suit designed because he was getting his ass beat and he doesn't want to get concussed anymore. So he designs an armor for him to protect him while he goes out there. And I thought maybe that was the point of the mask, but it never is explained why he decided to change.
For me, that was a problem for sure, because it was just, for a movie that took its time to explain so many things, you would think, come on, you got to get that one.
Right.
You got to get these little things.
I would love to go back through the movie and time how much actual vigilante time we have on screen as well. Because I feel like we could have had a little more. I think it took its time, but at the same time, we could have got to where we needed to go a little bit faster. Also, that there's just some stuff that was kind of random. Like the dude, the buddy with the glasses, I thought he was going to be way more involved in the film.
He wasn't at all. He was not at all.
And I was expecting, part of me thought that the reason why at the beginning of the film we see him taking, they're going to take.
He's narrating at the beginning.
Exactly.
Of the movie.
And I thought that maybe at this point, I was hoping that they built an army of these kind of guys. It's either a different person or you chop off one head and another one sprouts up, kind of deal like that. That's what I was kind of expecting because we start with him getting captured. They didn't inspire anybody.
They fucking all hated him. Yeah. They all hated him. They literally get beat up.
Well, they didn't even know
once he got exposed, they beat the shit out of him.
They didn't even know he existed until he got exposed.
So I mean,
there's some inconsistencies there,
But it was shot well.
Yes, it looked beautiful.
The action scenes were actually really well done. I mean, because it wasn't just, small motorcycle chase. They built on top of each other.
One of my favorite shots, and this is they shot in a set for this for sure.
The overhead shot?
Yeah, when he's in the apartment and they're overhead and they're fighting. I love that shot right there where he's in the corner next to the refrigerator.
And he gets his ass whooped.
Yeah.
But that was good because I was expecting, no, he's going to fucking beat these guys up.
Right.
And he didn't, which I'm like, thank God. And then the Master Sensei comes in and like fucking...
Which I call the Mr. Miyagi moment.
Absolutely. Wax on, wax off. But I liked it, though. I really did. And if anyone was curious how I would tackle a superhero movie, it'd probably be this way. Which probably to you would be like, yeah, no wonder why you like the Joker, fucking, because it makes a lot of sense.
Well...
Because to me it's so unconventional.
I put the quotations on there as a fucking comic book nerd, and that's me being a comic book elitist. I say that because he has no superpowers. And I feel like when you say superhero, and Batman's the one, and people argue about this all the time, is Batman really a superhero since he's got no powers and everything he does is like gadgets and stuff like that. You know, same thing for Iron Man as well. Like it's
this guy's a ninja.
Gadget space. This is more of a vigilante. Like, nobody calls the Punisher a superhero.
He is, though. It's a comic book, so
is it a comic book? Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, there's just, you know, this is more, the reason why it says superhero at all is because they mentioned superhero in the film. Like, if they didn't say it in the movie,
yeah,
like, you know.
It'd just be a vigilante.
Right, because the guy was writing a script or something like that.
It's an anonymous, like, they're literally anonymous. They're the Guy Fawkes mask people. The villain was weak, though.
Yeah.
You can't have a really good hero without a good villain.
We don't see him enough. He's just not involved enough.
That's the thing.
And there was just too many levels. It was like one of these side-scrolling like button master games where at the end of every level you fight a different boss. It kind of felt like that, but they didn't build it up that way because he didn't really conquer.
There's no showdown.
Right, exactly.
No, like true showdown.
He didn't conquer. He didn't take out the one boss and then go to the next boss and then, you know, he kind of.
But I think the reality is because they're just too strong.
Right.
They were gonna fucking kill him. Like they'll just shoot him, which is they never did. They never shot anybody.
And that was an issue for me, was that we didn't see any guns in this film until they take him to the bridge and they shoot him. And that scene confused me as to...
Because I thought they shot him in the head.
I thought they shot him in the head too, but did he shoot him in the chest? Did he shoot, like, where did he shoot him?
These guys are so cold-blooded.
The guy had a weird look on his face too, like he didn't want to do it. So I was like, did this guy shoot him with a blank or something?
That was a Dark Knight Rises moment where Motwane lost his balls for a second because he should have just killed him. He should have just killed him.
And the guy with the glasses should have taken his place.
His friend was like, fuck. Well, I wouldn't even say take his place, but release the tape as like he did.
Right.
And that was the last, like, you didn't die for nothing.
You mean pull a Rorschach?
Yeah, pull a Rorschach, exactly. 100% Watchmen. 100%, that's perfect. Although I'd argue Rorschach's a superhero, but I get it. None of them are superheroes, that's the whole point, but I would argue that he is. But my thing is, though, you know,
Dr. Manhattan's a superhero.
He is. I would just argue that then his death would have been valid.
Yeah.
He didn't die for nothing. Obviously, he didn't die, but it just, everything would have been more impactful. Because when he did get shot, I'm like, dang.
Right.
This movie killed 2 of the 3 fucking main dudes.
Yep.
Because the first guy dies pretty quick. Well, not pretty quick, but... So, you know...
It would have been bold. It would have been a bold move, and it would have been... I would have liked that, too. I think that's where it needed to go. I was expecting it to go. It didn't, and then that
Because this fat, nerdy guy can train and become skinny and powerful.
Or a
ringleader and recruit some people.
I thought Mr. Miyagi was going to get involved
somehow. I thought when they pulled the mask off
it was going to be Mr. Miyagi.
It was fucking Mr. Miyagi, because he was beating the shit out of everybody with sticks and stuff. So, I mean, that's another thing, too, because I don't know karate you use sticks like that. Because that's what they learn.
Well, I mean, that's not karate.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I mean, it's the sticks
suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, this is like if you're super into martial arts. That's a Eskrima. There's another one from Indonesia. But
or India, because you'll tell us.
Yeah, it was all invented in India. There was stuff like that was like, whoa, kind of let me down a little bit. And then the overall feeling. I mean, you said before we started that you think they won. I still feel like they lost.
Well, they did win because they exposed the whole thing.
Well, they exposed it, but they exposed it before and nothing happened. And I feel like that, like...
Well, now they have actual video proof.
Well, I mean, he had video proof of the water pumps as well that he...
Well, now he was able to see these people who were like...
Right.
He basically got caught doing the dirty work. Now, whether or not that fucking has an impact, I don't know, because we don't see that.
Yeah.
We don't.
And that made me wonder if
there's no shots of like the bad guys getting taken to Arkham Asylum like you would in a fucking comic book thing, where it's like, oh, they're going to jail now.
Right.
There's none of that.
And it made me wonder if there's going to be a sequel.
Probably will
because at the end we see him like going about and like attacking people at the end. We don't know.
One of the things that really confused me was the fucking makeup bit, where he became the bald dude. In the club, like the one dance scene.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I went and like took a shit at some point and just like went to grab popcorn or something. But when did he learn how to do makeup? Was that a scene and I just missed it?
I mean, that just goes along to him. There's a bunch of stuff he just does, and we never see him learn it. We never
even if he went on YouTube to fucking figure it out, it would have been because I was like, what? When did he became like, I don't know. It was weird. And then
it's like his friend died, and then he just developed all these powers that he didn't have beforehand because of the death, and maybe that's what we're supposed to believe.
But yeah, to a certain extent, because obviously he's the one who killed his friend.
Yeah,
I mean, he literally is the responsible.
Which is something like that right there was like, bro, like, and he never.
That's some petty shit.
And he never even mentions like, I didn't think people were gonna watch the video. He mentions that nobody watches our videos.
He did it on purpose.
But he did it on purpose, and he knew what was gonna happen, and it did happen. And there was no apology about it, you know.
Well, he felt bad.
Yeah, he felt bad when he died.
Yeah,
he didn't feel bad when he got his ass beat and then went to the hospital.
I know.
He still seemed kind of like, that's what you get for breaking my nose, you know.
Which is,
even though he knew dude was gonna be pissed off.
But that's what I liked about it though. I liked that it. But see, because these are kids. That's a kid shit. I feel like that's what kids would do. I don't know how old these guys are. I really don't. I don't know if they ever mention the age. But
I think they kind of mentioned that they're out of college already. Like,
yeah, but how? I don't know what the graduating age in India is. Here, that could be 21.
I mean, I feel like it's standard. It's probably the same, but we might be wrong.
I don't know.
You can let us know in the video.
I don't know how many years college is in different countries. I don't know if it's the same thing or what their paths are, or if they start earlier. I don't know. I was in school 4 years, but not everyone's in school for 4 years.
This guy was 39 years old.
Who? The guy in the...
Yeah.
That's what they said?
No, I just made that.
Oh. I was going to say, I didn't know that. I don't know. And I wrote down that
see, that might be... I would never, ever do that to my friends.
But see, we grew up, maybe not necessarily in the hood, but we have hood mentality. Because that's snitching.
That's a completely different level of snitching.
But it is snitching nonetheless.
Yeah. It just seemed. It seemed
like if someone did that and then homeboy, like if he revealed the guy and the guy went around and fucking shot him,
and that's fine. You wouldn't like that. That's the problem with me. Wasn't the snitching part. The problem was that like the consequences that happen with it, how they were never considered and how they're never addressed later. They're never like, I never should have put that video out because now he's dead because of it. He says my buddy's dead because of me. Yeah, but it was never like really addressed. Like
I don't agree with that. I don't agree. Because there's a lot of moments of silence where like you said, where the story wasn't progressing, but I feel like there was a lot of reflection time. I'm not saying it was perfect. I'm not arguing that, but I just think I think those moments are there.
Like,
maybe they just didn't impact you as.
Did he become the vigilante to further the mission of his friend, or because he felt bad and this was
that
him?
I don't know.
And for me that was kind of an issue. Like, what was his motivation of doing this?
I think the reason why you don't know is because you lose track of the third friend. The third friend is the anchor. He's the one who's supposed to fucking be us in the audience.
Right.
He's the one who's supposed to say, "What the fuck? You killed him."
Right.
What did you do? And that's when the other guy feels
exactly.
bad. That's when the other guy does his thing.
And that's an issue. I think it's a valid criticism.
I'm not saying it's not. Yeah. I think it is. I think it's. But I there's a lot of things that I like too, though, that we haven't talked about. The passport bit, where the guy's like trying to get his passport, and if the motherfucker if those corrupt cops would have just gave him the passport, maybe none of this would have happened.
Well,
but that was all,
and I think, and that was great because that was explaining, that was showing us the level of corruption that was going on, and that was cool. Like we were seeing how petty the corruption goes. Like, that's super petty, not giving someone his passport unless you
for
pay
what?
me
And it's not even it doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things.
Right, exactly.
Other than the fact that if he wouldn't just give him the damn passport, none of these people would have got captured.
But it was the way
consequences.
It was the way letting us know that this is how shit works. This is how corrupt everything is, like to the point where you can't even get your passport without paying someone off because they'll fuck with you endlessly until you finally do.
Well, that's why.
Like one of my favorite scenes was like the chief of police comes in and says, "It's not ready. This is what you got. You got to fill it out again. Get out of the station." And then the dude's like, that was great. I love that scene because it like just showed like now you know for a fact that these guys are messing with you on purpose. They're doing this because they're trying to squeeze you.
And it's like, what are you gonna do about it?
Right. Exactly.
Fuck you, pay me.
Literally. It was gangster shit.
And then just on a film level, I just want to say that regardless if the story was perfect or not, I think that's a huge factor in everything. Cinematically, I feel like the director knew what he was doing at all time. I felt confident in what he was doing. I would watch another one of his if he did another superhero movie and he listened to these criticisms and maybe improved upon them. If he fucking did a Marvel movie, I'd be excited to see it. If he did fucking
if the artist formerly known as Tajon is correct, I remember reading a comment a couple months ago that this bombed at the box office.
I think it did.
And I'm really disappointed.
It had a mixed critical reception.
I'm really disappointed that people didn't go and watch this because it's a lot better than a lot of other things that we've seen.
Maybe they, being the people who didn't like it, couldn't handle the sophistication, or they couldn't handle the fact that it wasn't so much like what they are used to. And I think that's a reality. I think we get exposed to that, that side of the Indian audience that they don't want anything else but fucking masala.
And that's okay. That's fine.
But at the same time, if you start supporting these other little things, that'll spill over into these bigger things. All of a sudden, I don't have gripes. Not to say that the Indian industry needs to appease me, but it's like it levels up.
Right.
The whole because that's what happens. Regardless if you want to call it American influence or not, because this was a very American movie, I felt like.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in India. It dealt with Indian matters. It's an Indian film through and through.
Didn't they have songs? I mean, they had the one montage.
Yeah. But it was story and character first.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. And and there's the shot when the guy actually dies, the very first guy. I forget his name. Joshi. Is that
Bhavesh Joshi?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought. And it's like a one long take. And we follow him in. The sound design's great. Like, it's just loud. You hear the fucking thing, and then he gets caught. And I mean, I didn't like how he started beating people up right away. But
right, because we never. It pays off later.
And you explain that he's been there every day, which is kind of a cheap cop out. But nonetheless, it's still addressed. So I definitely crossed it off my list because it was on there.
Right.
But it's an interesting way to tell a story, and I feel like this is like the new Indian cinema, like the new wave of Indian cinema right now. I think the Kashyap and everyone associated with him, because they own Phantom Films together. They're pushing India forward. I really believe that. Obviously, Amir Khan
on a world level, on an international
level. And it's not like there've never been filmmakers that have existed like this before.
On a world stage, it's things are definitely moving in a good direction.
Thugs of Hindustan's a good example of that.
I mean, but that might also, we don't know what that's going to be.
I feel like that's an Amir Khan influence.
But that could also be super commercial. Like, that's going to...
No, but I'm just saying, though, they're utilizing things that America utilized 10, 15 years ago, which is not a slight at Indian cinema. I'm just saying they are leveling up.
Yeah.
They are becoming a force to be reckoned with, because they've already been there, but in the background.
Right.
At least in terms of American influence. Now I feel like now you're going to start to see more and more, because they're just going to get bigger. It's just like China. I told you that Chinese movie grossed $800 million. It's a sequel to something. 800 million US, not 800 million yen or whatever the fuck they have over there. 800 million US. That's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of money.
But so I think we should wrap it up because we're running out of card space here.
Running out of time, running out of stuff. Just real quick, the gun thing. I never finished my point. The issue with the gun thing was that we don't see guns this entire time, and then all of a sudden they bring the gun out, and then we don't even know if the gun was effective or not. Like, the gun obviously wasn't effective, so it was like,
why even bring it out?
If you're not going to use the gun throughout the movie, you shouldn't ever bring the gun out.
Because this could be a gunless society.
Exactly.
And you just go with it.
And we what's the movie? Old Boy. They never break a gun out in Old Boy. It's always practical things like that. And I think that was like kind of took me out for a second with it because we hadn't seen it.
Well, it took me out because he didn't fucking kill him.
Right. Exactly.
If he would have just killed him, we wouldn't have said shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
But let's get into the the score, the tally. Let's score this. Cinematography I thought was great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw numbers out there, but cinematography I thought was great. Direction I thought was great. I thought the performances were actually pretty good all around. The writing kind of was hit and miss because of the things that we addressed in terms of what it was lacking. I think you throw those in there and this is a perfect movie. Like, genuinely, you literally just throw in a little bit of setup and it's just like all of a sudden you have a better ending where the guy dies. Whatever.
Right. For me, fix the writing, and this movie's a lot better than what I'm going to give it. But
for me, it's like a solid 8. I enjoyed it all the way. I was hooked. Like, that first hour and a half was actually pretty good. I was like, holy shit, I'm surprised. Like, what the fuck did people not like about this?
Right.
Like, are they crazy? But yeah, for me, it's a solid 8. I think it could have been better though. But just in terms of my overall experience and experiencing a superhero movie like this, I
give it an 8 as well. You know, and it actually makes me want to watch the VHS one that was kind of kick-ass like too. I don't remember the name of it, but
the one we man,
we did
the
reaction.
Man who laughs or something like the man who feels no pain.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, like that makes me kind of want to check that out and see like kind of the
Indians take
the juxtaposition between that one and this one.
If you should watch Sacred Games.
You know, I still need to watch it.
Same director.
I'm behind on it. I didn't know that. So that's even more reason to go and check it out. But yeah, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like button. Leave comments. Let us know what you think. And next week, Reaction Hour is back. Season 2. Can't wait. Get those videos in. And we will see you next time.